Alright, lads, so today we are back into Bleach Brave Souls. Obviously, over the last 2 days, we had some very exciting announcements. Finally, exciting stuff outside of BBS. And if you missed that, I'm surprised you have. We got a new 1000-Year Blood War trailer last night. It looks absolutely amazing. And then we're also finally getting a new Bleach contour game, which also looks really good. Super excited for both of those things. But what I'm also equally as excited for is the upcoming 9th anniversary. In this case, we are only 1 week away. At least till the announcement. The anniversary is starting early this year on the 19th, but the Bankai Live itself is happening next week, and that is the livestream you want to watch to see the reveal of the new 9th anniversary characters. And just like every year, before the reveal does happen, we're not here to talk about who the characters will be. We've already spoke about that. Now we're here to talk about what attributes are the characters going to be. Because believe it or not, and this shit might be a tad bit different, I will preface that, it is kind of easy to guess what we might be getting for an upcoming anniversary in terms of attributes, because Caleb know what they're doing. While yes, the anniversary characters are going to be some of the best characters in the game, they're going to be very exciting characters nonetheless. To give us more reason to pull for them, Caleb usually make the characters in an attribute that desperately need that power up. And in that way, you're going to have more reasons to actually summon for those characters. If we look at past examples, starting more so from the 6th anniversary, because honestly, I can't remember before that. It was kind of a long time ago. But going into the 6th anniversary, we knew we were going to get a heart and technique character because those are the 2 weakest attributes. And literally, we got exactly that. We got a 6th anniversary Aizen, a heart Sword per Captain Killer, was more so expecting to be a heart holo killer, to be fair. And then we also did get Epic Ichigo, a new technique character, and these 2 were the best characters in their respective attributes. While technically Epic Ichigo isn't an anniversary character by name, he, for all intents and purposes, was the anniversary character for that year. Besides 3rd anniversary, every year we always get 2 anti-characters. And given our book released literally 1 week before the actual 6th anniversary, it was clear Caleb just split the 2 characters up to one, make more money, but also to further promote their art book release. For the 7th anniversary at this moment in time, the mind and speed attribute were definitely the weakest attributes. Mind realistically didn't have that many good characters, and then speed, well, they did have some good respectable characters, that being Adashiro, 5th anniversary Byakuya, Christmas Noel. All of these characters were kind of full of range collision. We definitely needed a better character. More specifically though, a speed and rocket killer. Because Adashiro, while being still new at the time, we kind of knew was going to get replaced eventually, especially for the 7th anniversary. And for the 7th anniversary, we got a new Minds character, that being of course Ichigo, and a new speed character, that of course being Uryu. Going into the 8th anniversary, and this thumbnail actually aged really well, besides of course the Ishin prediction, but going into this anniversary, we knew that White was going to be the main prediction. That was the easiest guess, and him being a Mind character just kind of made sense. But at the time, again, despite us in the previous year getting 7th anniversary Ichigo, he wasn't perfect, and we needed a better character, and that's exactly what 8th anniversary White was. As for the power attribute, realistically only Yamamoto was holding this attribute down. We needed a newer, better character, and while we didn't technically get that outright, we did get an 8th anniversary Ichigo, a great addition to the power attribute. So just like last year, where the previous year's anniversary character wasn't as what we wanted it to be, this year, going into the 9th anniversary, I was expecting a power character, because yes, we did get 8th anniversary Ichigo, but just like 7th anniversary Ichigo, I feel like he could have been better, and we still needed a newer power character, especially given the current power character in the game right now. So my first main prediction for the upcoming 9th anniversary was to be a new power character. But unfortunately, this is where it's kind of weird, right? We already got a 9th anniversary character, that being the renewed Mugetsu, and he is a power character. Now, this character in particular, you can treat very similar to Epic Ichigo, an anniversary character releasing outside of an anniversary. Although in this case, I think it is a tad bit different. Epic Ichigo literally released a week before the actual anniversary started, and therefore it took away from the 6th anniversary. This character right here released a whole month before the 9th anniversary in the month of June, and I don't think this character is going to take away from the 9th anniversary, because I still believe 9th anniversary could be 2 or even more characters. So while I don't think this character is going to impact the upcoming 9th anniversary's characters' numbers more so, I definitely do think that maybe it's going to impact the attribute the character does get, because I'd be very surprised if we were to get another power character. But honestly, truthfully so, maybe I wouldn't mind that, because while I was expecting a power character, I was kind of expecting more than what we got with this Mugetsu, and that is not to say this character is bad. I think he's the best power character in the game. I think he's one of the best characters in the game, easily like top top 5 even. But for an anniversary, you want that character to be top 1, top 2. And honestly, I think the worst part about Mugetsu Ichigo right now is that his killer isn't really the best. He's a character that's also good enough to be used outside of his killer advantage, but he's definitely a character that you preferably want to play when he does have killer, mainly due to the fact that how his increased chance to inflict status elements does work. It's only against holos. And unfortunately for us, Holo Killer is probably the worst killer he could have gotten, because still to this day, the two most used power characters that we are using in replacement for Mugetsu if you do not have him is 8th Anniversary Ichigo, is 1000G Blood Yamamoto, power Holo Killers. If we were still to get a power character for the upcoming anniversary, I think to make them as exciting as they possibly can be, we really do need a power Super Killer, because right now that is what is very, very lacking. As you can see here, if you wanted to use a power Super Killer, the most recent SP character was Kenpachi, who released over 2 years ago. While Kenpachi is still an overall solid character, you know, power creep is a thing. So while I do believe that we should have gotten a new power character for the 9th anniversary, we technically already have gotten that with Mugetsu, and due to this character's attribute, I don't think, at least in the first or second part, we are going to get a power character. Maybe a few months after the 9th anniversary, we might get a newer, better power character. That could be the definitive best character in the game, or best power character in the game. And hopefully when that time does come, preferably, they are a super killer. But let's have a look at the other attributes. So first up, let's start with technique. Now again, this is kind of awkward too, because we also just received a new technique character literally last month. For us at this point, was only a week ago. Bambietta is still new. She's a technique character. But I think more than ever this year, it needs to be a technique character. Now, technically, if you don't count our pick Ichigo, we've never actually had a technique anniversary character, at least by name. But to be fair, that's mainly just because technique has always been in a good position. We've never needed a technique anniversary character, again, besides the 6th anniversary. But as of right now, I think we are in desperate need of a really good, powerful technique character, best character in the attribute. We have some good characters, don't get me wrong. Bambietta is a great character. She's kind of limited because she does have Guild Quest specific skills that hold her back outside of Guild Quest, despite it, again, don't get me wrong, still being a really good character outside of Guild Quest. Rangiku has range collision. Ichibe has the problem of having low damage output when the gauge isn't active. Renewed Ichigo's still good, but his kit isn't the best. Toshira is still great, but only Franti +1. Aizen is still great, but he's a normal attack damage character. We desperately do need a new technique character, and despite us getting a technique character literally a week ago, I still expect at least one of the characters this year to be a technique character, because it just makes most sense, and that's what I think more people would summon for, regardless of how good or what the character is going to be, who the character will be. Because we saw last month, right? Again, not even last month, this week, with the current Limit Breaker quest, you know, other than Bambietta, despite, again, the rules being very picky on who you actually can bring, it's tough because there's not really a really good character that can just brute force their way through it. If we were to go in depth, though, what attribute and killer combination would I like to see here? Well, obviously, they are going to come with 2 killers. Let's have a look at Technique Soripers. In this case, we do have access to Ichibe and also Toshiro. I wouldn't mind a new Technique Soriper killer. If we have a look at Holo, I definitely could see us getting a new Technique Holo killer. Renewed Ichigo again is great, but we are maybe due a replacement. Aranka, I don't expect to see because our last 2 Technique characters that we consider good are Aranka killers. No affiliation, I think, is a very likely outcome in this case because there's no really good Technique, no affiliation killer. Only really usable one here is, again, Safri Gin. And then if we look at some of the weirder killers like Quincy Human, I mean, it's kind of the same good characters. So I think if anything, maybe a no affiliation killer and then another good killer. It could be anything else. I really don't mind. But I think we are in desperate need of a really good technique character. More specifically, though, one with Rampage. And that is how you make an anniversary character even more exciting. Rampage is the most broken skill in the game. And if we actually sort by what character has Rampage, you'll see here that there are only 4 characters with the Rampage skill. And Technique, even though we just got a Technique Limit Breaker character, 2 Technique Limit Breaker characters, Bambietta and Rangiku, you'll see here there's still no Technique character with the Rampage skill. So if anything, for part 1 to be as exciting as it can be, again, disregarding the character choice here, a technique character with the Rampage skill and 2 good killers is definitely going to get me summoning. And I think it would also be even more exciting because it would be our first Rampage character that will be in the premium pool. Hopefully, right? Because you'll see here, 3 of the Rampage characters are 1000G Bloodworm. 1 of them is a seasonal. There's no premium character with Rampage. And as we know, premium characters, we don't really get too many end of month premium characters. So the only time of the year for us to get a really good premium character is on the anniversary. So I don't want to see this opportunity wasted. And I would love to see our first ever premium Rampage unit. And to make it even better, put that on a technique character. So yeah, personally, out of all 5 attributes, I definitely would say at least one of them is going to be Technique. It seems like the most likely outcome, especially because right now Technique is lacking that definitive best technique character in the game, top 3 best unit in the game, with also preferably the Rampage skill. Now let's have a look at the other attributes. So next up we have the Heart attribute. Now if you saw yesterday's video, we did briefly touch upon the 144th stage in the current Gates of Oblivion Senkamon Tower, where they want us to specifically bring a Heart character, Soripa affiliation, that is ranged with the Aranka kill ability. And as you'll see here, usually Gates of Oblivion, more often than not, this could just be a rare situation where it's not, is designed for a new character. And as you can see here, there's no character that really fits the bill. Like, yeah, we technically have Momo and also Byakuya, but they're old characters. I highly doubt Killab designed that stage in mind for us to be using Arena Momo and also Byakuya. So the second character very well could have been spilled by that Senkamon quest. And in this case, we could potentially be expecting a new Heart Aronkula that is a Soripa that is also ranged. Now, the reason why I say it might not be them is also because of the current Limit Breaker quest characters. Now, for those that don't know, we get one Limit Breaker quest character every month, and it's every single end of month. It all started a year ago, and they go in order of attributes. So the attribute order is random, but we don't get a second speed Limit Breaker character until every attribute is done. So, for example, we had Yatru, a speed character, Kyogre, Heart, Nini, Mind, Rukia, Power, and then a full rotation happened, ending up with Ichibei. That was our first rotation of Limit Breaker quest characters. A new rotation then started with Yuha, Mind, Heart, that being Ruroka, Speed was Sangdu, Technique was Rangiku, and then it ended the second rotation with a Power Okiura. A new rotation is then started. It started off with Ishin, that being a Mind's character, and then our second Limit Breaker quest character is actually Bambietta. Again, technically at the same time, this particular Mugetsu is a Limit Breaker quest character, and you could treat him as the Power Limit Breaker quest character, but again, he's kind of like an exception. Maybe he is going to be deemed as the power character, and we're not going to get another power character designed in mind for Limit Breaker until we first and foremost now get a speed and heart character. So that Heart rules in the current Gates of Oblivion Senkamon could be hinting at a new character release. And the upcoming anniversary is scheduled to happen on the 19th, so the Limit Breaker quest in mind will still be available. But the reason why I say it might not be a Heart character is again because Heart is basically next in line. It's technically Heart or Speed is going to be our next Limit Breaker character. And in that case, I assume the Heart or Speed new best character, or a really good Heart and Speed character, is going to be saved for the second part of the anniversary. Alongside that, more often than not, second part of the anniversary also does bring us a Brave Battle character, and I wouldn't be surprised if they end up being a power character, more so to counter Orihime, and we also haven't had a power Brave Battle character in quite some time too. So this might be a big, massive, big brain prediction, right? Part 1, I expect to be a Technique character. Part 2, I'm going to assume is going to be a Heart Limit Breaker quest character. We more often not again do get a Brave Battle character. I'm going to assume they're going to be Power. So I assume with that in mind, Part 1 will not have a Heart character. They will not have a Power character. And that essentially leaves Speed and also Mind. The thing is though, I don't expect us to get a Mind character because quite frankly, we don't need him. We do not need a new Mind character, I'll be honest. Like, I didn't mind Meninia being a Minded character because, strictly speaking, she's a Super Links of Farmer. She fulfills a different role, and we've needed a good new Mind Super Links of Farmer. But Mind is in a very good position, and for the most part, this Ishin can be served as an anniversary character. He's that good of a character. If we were to get a new Mind character, I wouldn't mind them going down the 1000-year Blood War Aizen route, where they're just a really good normal attack damage character. And in that case, I wouldn't mind it. But if we're strictly looking at SP characters, then I would say, yeah, maybe we're not going to get a Mind character just yet. Going back to the topic of a power character, again, Mugetsu is serving as this year's anniversary power character. And maybe we might be getting a power Brave Battle character. Maybe at the same time, Part 2 could also just be a new, really good Super Links of Farmer in the power attribute, which I know is something a lot have been wanting, because right now there's really no good Super Links of Farmer to use in Inheritance Shells. Unironically, our best character for Inheritance Shells as of right now is a character that released almost 4 years ago that now just recently resurrected. So with that in mind then, that basically just leaves Speed last, right? Does it not? Now, Speed is also in a really good position. They have really good characters, Yatru and also Sangdu specifically. But I think we could go for another Speed character, a more generic, powerful character that has more 2024 power creep, right? Yatru is still an absolutely amazing character, still debatable top 3 character in the entire game, but I would love to see a Frenzy 2 character with a 120% SP boost and also Rampage, why not? With 2 killers that isn't, Soripa Captain. maybe at the same time an increased chance to inflict status limits overall. In terms of what killer they could be, again, I don't think we need to see a super killer. Yachu has that covered. When it comes to a holo killer, Sangdu has that covered. When it comes to a ranker, I mean, our last character, literally our last speeder rank killer, surprisingly, was actually Uryu, a character that released almost 2 years ago. So I wouldn't mind a new speeder rank killer. When it comes to human, we could go for a new human killer. I don't think that'll be a bad one. When it comes to Quincy, who do we have here? Could go for a new speed Quincy killer. Likewise, with no affiliation, I believe we have Macy, but it's also been like a year and a half now since Macy has released. So my main prediction for today is that one, we are going to get a technique character for part 1 of the anniversary. That I think is the biggest thing Caleb can do right now for the attributes right now. For all 5 attributes, right, is a really good, powerful technique character. If the Gates of Oblivion stage does hint at us getting a new Heart character, it very well could be that. But given that Heart/Speed is also next in line to get a new Limit Breaker character, maybe they'll be saving that Heart character for part 2, but it very well could be part 1. I think it's 50-50 right now, truth be told. It could be Technique, it could be Heart, assuming there's only 2 characters. There could be 3 characters this year, we generally don't know. So those are my main predictions for this upcoming 9th anniversary characters attribute. I feel like this one's going to be a bit hard to guess. My main prediction going into the anniversary was Tech and Power, but we just got Mugetsu, and that kind of throws things up. But if anything, I'm going to stick with first character being Tech, second one is 50-50 Heart or Speed. Let me know in the comments below though what you like to think. What do you want to see for this year's anniversary characters in terms of attributes? Either way though, hopefully the character choice is good. Hopefully the characters themselves are actually really fun to play with. And for the record, we might very well be getting some data mines/leaks regarding the upcoming anniversary in terms of any potential new skills. If we ever get an update, which we might get one tomorrow with some resurrection news, very likely we might get our first signs of the upcoming 9th anniversary. Last year, the anniversary leaks/data mined more so what skills they did have happened around the 10th/9th, so it might happen around the same time again this year. We'll find out in a couple of days' time. Either way, hope you liked and enjoyed the video. See you guys next time. Take care and peace.